You know that picture you have in your head of what a real estate agent does? You're probably thinking open houses, yard signs, maybe driving people around to look at properties. But what's really going on behind the scenes? What do they even talk about when there are no clients around? Well, we got our hands on a transcript from an actual real estate team meeting, and we're going to use it to show you what their job is really all about. So let's peel back the curtain. So, this is the big question, right? Forget all the drama you see on reality TV. We are looking at the real world, nitty gritty conversations that actually drive this industry. We're talking legal updates, branding, and everything in between. And trust me, the answer is way more complex and, frankly, more fascinating than you probably think. Okay, so here's the game plan. We've boiled down this entire meeting into 5 key themes. We'll start with a little peek inside the meeting itself. Then we'll dive into the hidden network that literally saves deals from falling apart. After that, we'll decode some super important contract changes, look at some clever strategies for getting loans, and finally, we'll explore this idea of the agent as a brand. All right, let's jump right in and take a look inside the room. You'll see that these meetings aren't just about sales numbers and new listings. No, they're about community, they're about support, and really the very human side of this whole business. You know, what's so amazing is that this was one of the very first things they talked about in the meeting. Seriously, before they got to any contracts or commissions, they took a moment to celebrate a new baby. It just goes to show you that these high-performing teams, they're built on real relationships and support systems. It's like a community first and a business second. And that whole idea of community, it flows perfectly into our next point. See, a single agent doesn't sell a house all by themselves. Not even close. They're more like the hub of this huge network of specialists. And in this meeting, they're calling on their most trusted partners, the people who are absolutely crucial for getting a deal across the finish line. And just look at the sheer breadth of that network. During this one meeting, they heard from mold experts, lawyers, and lenders. A huge part of an agent's job is knowing exactly who to call the second a problem pops up, whether it's a leaky pipe or a bad mold inspection. They're basically expert problem solvers with a killer contact list. This quote right here, from the mold specialist, man, it is so telling. His promise isn't just about fixing mold, it's about saving the entire transaction. And that's the mindset of the whole network. They're all working together to find solutions, not to create roadblocks. Because if a deal blows up, everybody loses. Okay, now for some of the heavy stuff. A massive and, let's be honest, often invisible part of an agent's job is mastering legal contracts. These things are constantly changing, and if you miss one little detail, it can have huge consequences for your clients. So in this meeting, they actually had a closing attorney walk them through all the latest updates. So here's a really crucial change they talked about. It's something called the unilateral extension. Before, it could only be used one time to delay a closing for 8 days. But now, both the buyer and the seller can use it. That means a closing could, in theory, get pushed back by a total of 16 days. Agents have to know this stuff inside and out to manage everyone's expectations and timeline. This right here was probably the biggest legal bombshell of the entire meeting. See, in the past, a lender could just send a vague denial letter, and that would let a buyer walk away from a contract. Not anymore. Now the letter has to say exactly why the loan was denied. This is a massive protection for sellers, and it really holds lenders accountable. And to be super clear, this doesn't protect a buyer from their own mistakes. The attorney pointed this out. If the loan gets denied because, say, the buyer didn't have enough cash, or they failed to hand over their paperwork, or, and yes, this really happens, they went out and opened a new line of credit right before closing, well, they can't just walk away. The agent's job is to make sure their client doesn't make these kinds of mistakes in the first place. So, beyond navigating all that legal stuff, agents also have to be pretty sharp financial strategists. This is especially true when they're working with clients who don't fit into a neat little financial box, like entrepreneurs. It's not just about finding them a lender, it's about coaching them on how to actually get approved. Here's a perfect example of what I mean. There was a mortgage broker in the meeting who was practically begging the agents to talk to their self-employed clients before they file their taxes. Why? Well, because entrepreneurs love to write everything off, right? But that lowers their taxable income and can make it totally impossible to qualify for a loan. A good agent gets in there months in advance and helps them strategize so their tax return doesn't end up killing their dream of buying a home. And finally, we get to the part of the job that's all about marketing. But you know, it's not just about running ads or posting on social media. The modern agent has to be the brand 24/7. It's this relentless and sometimes really creative quest to always be top of mind. This was the challenge a speaker laid down to the agents. In a market this crowded, you can't just be good at what you do. Everybody you meet has to know what you do. You have to be visible at the grocery store, at your kid's soccer game, everywhere. Being a secret agent is just a recipe for failure. And if you want to see just how far this branding thing can go, get this. One mortgage professional shared his personal strategy. He stopped buying his kids' brand name clothes. Instead, he started putting his own company logo on everything they wear. His kids are literally walking billboards for his business. So, did it actually work? Oh, yeah, big time. He says that now people in his community don't even know his real name anymore. They just call him by his brand. He has successfully made his business his identity. It's a pretty powerful, if a little extreme, example of what it takes to stand out today. So, after pulling back that curtain, a whole new definition starts to emerge, doesn't it? A real estate agent isn't just some salesperson. They are a master networker, a sharp legal navigator, a proactive financial strategist, and a relentless personal marketer, all rolled into one. And that really leaves us with a final thought to chew on. As technology and AI keep changing how we search for homes and how transactions work, a lot of the technical parts of the job might get automated. So what's the one thing that can't be replaced? Maybe it's that human element, the network, the trust, the personal brand. What do you think?